Hello, everybody. Welcome to number 301, our live episode that we do where we take your questions about U.S. immigration law and help you have a better understanding what's going on for educational purposes only, not intended as individual legal guidance. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi, founder of the JQK Immigration Law Firm, headquartered in Los Angeles, but we handle cases from across the country and across the world. Our location doesn't matter for most of the cases we do. People getting married or doing fiancé visas, people starting small businesses with the E2 or the L1 visa, people doing removal of conditions, get a 2-year to a 10-year green card, extending their green card, citizenship. These don't require me to be there physically. It's really just be there, for you and be able to be responsive to your emails, your calls, mailing stuff to the government, uploading stuff. And that's kind of service we provide. And check out our reviews. People love it. Go to Google, type in JQK Law, check it out, and see it for yourself. If you're interested in a marriage green card case, you have a guide called the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. If you go to the website marriageimmigrationlaw.com, you can download and receive, or you'll get an email with it, Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It's 70 pages or maybe more detailed information on how the process works to give you a better idea what's going on before you even talk with an immigration attorney. We also have a guide that we publish for citizenship now, Ultimate Naturalization Citizenship Guide. Go to jqklaw.com/citizenship to check that one out. The marriage green card guide is at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. The citizenship guide is at jqklaw.com/citizenship. So we're going to start taking your questions. And one thing is the software we have has some sort of delay. And if y'all hearing me late or it's not coming through properly, let me know. I'm not sure why that's happening, but I have to get to the bottom of it because it's been 2 days. It's new. Maybe we'll get back to normal. Maybe I have too many windows open on my computer. It could be many different things, but feel free to shoot out your questions about U.S. immigration law, and we'll get the show started answering the confusions to the extent possible. Some of the stuff has no answers, unfortunately. No one knows, and we just kind of government makes it up as they go along. But a lot of changes, are happening under the Trump administration, which are worrying. Whether you're doing a business case like H-1Bs with a new $100,000 fee, the complexity that brings, and I haven't read the full memo that came out this week on that yet. Whether you're interested in the green card lottery, which is not happening yet, and this additional $1 fee, what's going on with that? The asylum cases have their issues. We don't do asylum at our law firm, but that's the issue. Marriage cases are going to be cracking down and be more inquisitive as to whether a marriage green card is real. For citizenship, they're going to be tougher questions and more background checks. We'll see what happens with that. New green card categories they're going to try to create that's going to push out the old ones. This gold card where you pay a lot of money to get a green card is going to push out green cards for people with extraordinary ability and professors, stuff like that. So weird stuff that they're doing a lot of it, unnecessary a lot of it, but some of it I understand that the country's immigration system is in a flux. But there's a weird sentiment out there about this issue that's really creating a lot of problems for a lot of people. There's better ways to do this, I'm sure, but this is what we have right now. And so we're here to take your questions. So feel free to shoot out your questions live. Again, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi, and we can do it. If you're already watching on TikTok, feel free to like and share this feed so other people join as well to ask their questions about U.S. immigration law. I think my internet's having a little bit of a snafu right now. It's because it's just having glitches and stuff, which is, taking away access to a lot of people who usually watch the show. But they're coming in quick. Usamani says, I got an extension of 2-year green card approval of I-751 pending. Should I expect combo interview for naturalization I-751? Let me back that up. So what he's trying to say is that you got a green card. Thank you for your question. You got a green card based on marriage. The marriage was new. It was less than 2 years old when the green card was issued. So the green card the government gives is called a conditional green card. It's only valid for 2 years. Now, it's like a regular green card. You do everything with it, but they want to double check to make sure your relationship was real. It was not a fake marriage. And how they do that is after you get the green card, around a year and 9 months or 2 years after that, you got to file another application called Form I-751 to show your relationship is real and document that. And so once you file that, unfortunately, the government's really backed up. In that case, on average, takes anywhere from 6 months to 3 years to be approved. What are you going to do in the meantime when you have an expired green card? Well, the receipt notice the government gives acts as a 4-year extension of the green card. So if you need to travel for work purposes, if you're getting a driver's license, you show your expired green card with that notice, and that holds you over. But since it takes so long, if you've been married and living with the citizenship while that case is pending, you can file for U.S. citizenship, naturalization, and get that done. Normally, citizenship requires you to be a green card holder for at least 5 years before you apply in most cases. There's exceptions for like Army people and all that kind of stuff, but we're not going to get into that. But if you're married to a U.S. citizen and living with that U.S. citizen, you can do it after 3 years, even 90 days before the 3-year mark. So in these cases, when the I-751 removal conditions extend that 2-year green card to 10-year green cards taking over a year, what we do, unless the case has unique issues that prevent it, but 99 out of 100 times, we'll file for naturalization, citizenship, and do that case. And eventually, there'll be a joint interview in most cases where they knock out the I-751, the marriage part, and then they go over citizenship and it's done. Now, we have cases right before the interview, the I-751 gets approved and they just go for citizenship. It varies, but it's a likely thing that's going to happen if you've been married to a U.S. citizen that you're just going to do your combo interview for naturalization at the same time as the I-751. You go with your spouse. They do both interviews quickly and knock it out. Again, unless you have issues or particular problems that weren't expected. But that's the gist of it right there. You're on the right track, Osami. Thank you for your question. KV Spartan says, scheduled for an interview on September 22nd, 2025. The interview date is November 3rd, 2025. Still no notice in the mail. If you got it online, that's good. Normally, if they give you a September 22nd notice, the interview won't be that soon for November. That's only like, 8 plus 2 or 3, 2 weeks notice. That is not typically the case. So double check it. But unfortunately, the government does stuff like this. So, I'm sorry, September 22nd. I'm not October. Okay, so that's a long time. If you call USCIS to say if you don't receive a notice in 30 days, call them. And if you can't make it, make sure to let them know ahead of time. But that's unfortunate that didn't come in the mail. Now, if you're watching this, please share it, your live feed, to invite more friends to come and watch and ask their questions about U.S. immigration. Junior asks, I'm 21 years. I passed my N400, but I didn't know I was supposed to register for selective service. But after the interview, I registered. Will I still be approved? Well, you still have time until you're 26, until you're done with 25, or you're turning 26 to do it. The officer should send you a notice, and you file it, say you didn't know. Probably it'll be okay. It's based on officer discretion, but imagine if you have time to register and you tell them it was a mistake, it wasn't intentional, it wasn't something like that. You do it. Now, they could always be a jerk about it and deny it, but if you do it in time, you send the information, most likely it's going to work. Feel free, anywhere you're watching, like and leave a good review, or just watch like, so we get more people coming here, know about what we do, so we can answer your immigration questions. Been doing it for 5 years now. Hopefully, we'll do another 5. Osman asks, outright dismissed case, married to U.S. citizen, any issues with applying for N400? I don't know what you mean by outright dismissed case. What does that mean, Osman? I'm not sure. Married to U.S. citizen, issues with applying for. So when you say any issues as well, there's so much things that go on in life. I can't give you this any issue kind of thing. I'm not God. I don't have that power. But you got to be very specific to a unique thing, and maybe we can answer that and give you some guidance there. So please be a little more thorough with your question. But thank you for giving the gifter badge. Bossy says, is it better to apply for a fiance visa or wait until marriage and then file for my spouse? 9 out of 10 times, it's better to do the marriage case because for various reasons. I have detailed videos on this on our YouTube page. Please go check it out. Type in JQK Law on YouTube. If you want this specific video, go to JQK Law, fiance visa versus marriage green card. Again, 9 out of 10 times, it's better to do the marriage case. The fiance case normally doesn't make things faster, even though you see a lot of information online that says that. And it's also much longer to get the green card. So there's much more steps, much more fees. Even if you don't hire an attorney, the government fees are more. And you might be certain, depending on what country you're from, there's certain travel bans that exist that apply to fiance visas, but don't apply to marriage green cards. That's why it's very important to study this thoroughly, see what the situation is, what you want to do. But again, 9 out of 10 times, the marriage case is better. But it depends on your facts. Some people just can't get married, or there's other issues that prevent that from happening. User 87 says, how are recent citizenship interviews going? Have mine coming in 2 weeks. They're going just as they always done. There's no difference in how citizenship interviews have been happening. User 8, thank you for giving the gifter badge. Withdrawal. Okay, but what do you mean? Your marriage case was withdrawn? Do you mean like you petitioned for someone else, Osman, and then you said like you withdrew it and then you want to file for citizenship now? Like, they just not enough context for me to be able to even begin that. So you got arrested, but case was withdrawn. So we got to see what the arrest was for, what the accusations were for. Even if it was withdrawn, they could dig into that. Maybe want you to get, a police report and discuss it. Probably it's okay, but without reviewing the whole situation, what was done, what the accusations for, were there any admissions in there? You need to get paperwork from the prosecutor to list that was withdrawn, have them signed or stamp original of that or certified. Get a federal background check as well as a state background check showing what shows in the record. So there's a lot that goes in that to document it properly, to make sure the officer, they might ask for all this kind of stuff. So we got to get all that. Well, that's good you have it, the response. So you're on the right track. You're probably okay, but I can't answer your question. It's too case specific to say expunge is not helpful. U.S. doesn't recognize, immigration bar doesn't recognize expunge cases. So we don't like people expunging cases at all for immigration, and it makes it harder to get the file too. But if everything was clean to say, you're probably okay. But I haven't reviewed the record myself. I've had people tell me things where the exact opposite is true. Not to say that you're doing that, but as an immigration lawyer, I just can't say to someone, yeah, you're good based on this without reviewing the documents myself. Quadruple A, one of our regulars, thanks for coming back on, says, is it possible to choose which USCIS service center, Nebraska or Texas, processes an IW petition, or do they just send it randomly to one of them? I've heard that Nebraska may have higher approval rates. Well, there are variances in approval rates, but no, there's no way to control which office it will go. The government just gets it at a centralized location and distributes it according to caseload. Bossy says, what is the processing time frame once married? Okay, Bossy. Well, download our guide, first of all, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. But what is the processing time frame? Depends on many different factors. Is the U.S. person a citizen or a green card holder? Are you doing a fiancé visa or a marriage case? Here you're saying marriage case. Is the foreign national, foreign spouse in the U.S. or outside the U.S.? What country were they born in? What country were they going to do their visa processing in? Or which state or location in the U.S. are going to do it? Do they need waivers? Do they have any unauthorized history of violations or anything like that? And so the processing time could be, depending on which one of these unique facts exists, could be 3 months. It could be 5 years on average. So we need so much piece of information to give an estimate. And even then, the estimate could be completely wrong. So, that's the best we could do to give an honest answer, especially because I don't have any other information about your background. Emmy also asks, hi, can we talk about the DV lottery winners' benefits and restrictions that affect their approvals? You could talk about it. Benefits. I mean, you get a green card. I'm not sure what benefits you're talking about. Restrictions affect their approvals. Well, if you didn't complete the diversity visa lottery paperwork, then if there's typos and errors on it, that could cause you to be denied. If you have any, violations in the past, that could be denied, or some fraud or misrepresentation, any crimes. If you don't have a high school degree or evidence of 2 years of work history, that could be denied as well. And depending on what country you're from, it might take so long for you to get an interview, or administrative processing might take so long that the timeline for you to be able to get the visa expires, because it has to be done by the end of September of the following year. So there's a lot of variations, things like that pop up. Now, Naveen Singh asked, how long is the I-751 taking? Well, we went into a lot of detail about that earlier, but on average, it's between 6 months to 3 years. Either, I would say let's say 30% of my cases are done in 6 to 12 months, and the ones that are not go 2 or 3 years. Ngozi says, good evening. How long after biometrics for VAWA will a work permit be issued? Thanks in advance. There's no timeline for biometrics leading to that, so they're unrelated. Biometrics have to be done, but when it's going to be approved is up to the government. Emmy also says, thank you kindly. You're welcome. Bossy says, is there a consultation fee? 100% there's a consultation fee. Please go to our website, jqklaw.com/contact. Fill in the boxes there, and then we could give you information on what our consultation fee is. But thank you for the gifter badge as well. The gifter badge, I guess, yeah. Dom says, I have a removal proceedings, but got my I-130 interview. Any tips? Should I be worried? No record and legal. Why are you in removal proceedings then if you have no record and you're legal? So I'm not sure what you're saying there. You should have an immigration attorney 100% if you're in removal proceedings. And depending on when you submit the I-130, you might have needed a special waiver for that. And if you're not detained, potentially at the I-130 interview, they may detain you. So there's a lot. It's a complicated case, Domes. Thanks for leaving the gifter badge. But that's something you need to have an immigration attorney that does removal proceedings in your location where your office interview would be and the court would be, because it's a very sensitive situation that you're in if you have removal proceedings. Control says, what about being arrested and charged but not convicted? That all could be problematic. So if you have a citizenship case pending, for example, even some green card cases, they won't make a decision on your case if you have charges pending. It might even deny it. So it's a very sensitive situation right there. Dom, thank you for following. And whoever's watching, please follow. We have these pop-ups where you take your stuff, your question online. Control says charges withdrawn. We'll have paperwork saying your charges withdrawn to have evidence of that. Get the background checks, FBI background check, rap sheet, your state. And if you can, get the police report, see what's saying there. Make sure there's no admissions to crimes there, all that kind of stuff. That says, which service center is fast for I-751? It doesn't matter because you don't have any control over which service center will do it, and they're not consistent. Sometimes Texas Service Center, everyone says they're the worst, and we get the case done in a month when everyone's saying in 6 months or 3 years or something. So that way of thinking about which service center and stuff is out of your control. There's no way you have control over it or know what's going to happen. And the government never even tells you honestly which service center it is. I've had them frequently tell us it's one, but it's another. So just not something to think about. But That's that. Controller, thank you for giving the gift for badge. Sultan, thank you for sharing the live. I really appreciate it. Everyone. Please do share the live show so more people can ask questions. You can learn about the immigration process. I can share any knowledge I've learned over the last 15 years of doing this immigration game. Dom says, came here on a visitor visa, overstayed, but I'm married to a U.S. citizen. Okay, so though potentially will work for getting a green card, but you're in removal proceedings, so got to deal with that. So definitely get an immigration attorney to help you out with that. And thank you for the gift badge again, Doms. I appreciate it. Bossy, thanks for reposting. Thank you all for being so nice. I got a flash goal. I'm not sure what that is. TikTok telling me, but thank you anyways. And so, yeah, please like and Ngozi, everyone. Thank you for liking so much. We're getting all these likes, and yeah, we're getting more and more audience coming. So keep the likes coming so we get more good questions. Tree asks, can we apply for citizenship after 4 years and 6 months of residency? No, you have to, unless you're married and living with a U.S. citizen, or you are in the military, or some other rare exception. You have to wait 90 days before the 5-year mark. And sometimes it's people say 3 months. 3 months is not exactly 90 days, so the rule is 90 days. So you got to wait a little bit longer. The 4 years and 6 months is if you had a long absence of like over a year outside the U.S. you want to file. That's where that 4 years, 6 months comes in, but not basics, not the basic citizenship. Junior says, how long does USCIS send you a written decision on your application? How long does it take to give a decision? There's no timeline. Jack says, I'll take that as a no. Jack, I didn't see any other questions. You just said, I'll take that as a no, so feel free to ask the question first. Tree Branch says, got it. Thank you. You're welcome. Please leave a like and subscribe and share the live feed. I really appreciate it. The more likes we get, the more people. We got 1,000 likes. Wow, okay. I think that's really good. Let's go for 2,000. I'm here for another 15 minutes. Let's see if we can double it up. We're taking immigration questions. U.S. Immigration Lawyer John Kasravi. I specialize in really, I can't say specialize, but I focus our firm is product for small investors starting business in the U.S. and people getting married. Download our Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And we have the Ultimate Naturalization Citizenship Guide at jqqlaw.com/citizenship. That's jqqlaw.com/citizenship. If you want to schedule a consultation, you go to our website, go to our contact us page, jqqlaw.com/contact. We'll take it from there. Control says, how long after marriage did you apply for adjustment of status, a green card in the U.S.? There's no timeline. I mean, technically, you can do it the second you get the marriage certificate or the second you get married. So how long, it doesn't have to do with the marriage act itself. It really has to do with other factors of your presence here, your background documents, your paperwork, what you have. So you only want to submit a strong case. Some people are like, immediately want to file it after you get married. They say, no, I want to have a strong case, then file it because I don't want to have surprises. So it really depends on your paperwork, but the time after marriage is not really a factor in all that. So please leave a like and subscribe and share this feed. We got 200 likes in a matter of a minute. So let's go. Let's keep it up. Let's see if we get to 2,000. Ummi Blessing says, asylum or marriage, fast way to get a green card. Asylum is not necessarily, I mean, you got to do whatever your case is. Marriage is normally going to be faster than asylum. Asylum is complicated. Something that takes a long time. Sometimes the paperwork is a problem. So if you could get married, if you are getting married and it's honest and real marriage, then that's the better way to do it. But, it depends on your facts or your case. It's not something you really choose that easily. It's about your life circumstances. And the G, thanks for the gifter badge. I appreciate it. Bright Eyes join. Thanks so much. If you already like this and share it so more people come in and can ask questions about U.S. immigration law. And I'm going to see if we get 2,000 likes on this one. We're at 1,300. That's incredible. They get 200 or 300 likes in 2 minutes. I'm sure bigger channels get like 1 million in a minute, but for a small channel like mine, getting all these questions is really cool. So I appreciate it. Thank you for joining. Investing, follow the live creator. Thank you so much. I sent an invitation by accident to somebody. I'm not sure who. So just whoever it is, sorry. I'm not sure what that was about. But feel free to shoot out your question about U.S. immigration law. The citizenship process is getting a little more complicated. Junior asks, after passing interview N400 and you register for selective service, can you get approved? Well, just registering is part of the requirement. If you pass the interview, you're saying, and you fix the registration part, yeah, they'll give you an oath ceremony and do it. I got to see what exactly happened there, what the officer said, or what documents or paperwork they gave you after that. Manchester asks, my citizenship date is in 3 weeks. What could you do to help me with the new rules and how your firm is different? What do you mean your citizenship? The filing it? Our firm is different because we care about our clients and we spend a lot of time talking with you. We're very thorough. We actually just tell you a story. We had a client of ours who is doing a marriage green card and he's on a work visa here. And we spent a lot of time, double the amount of time in Northern Ireland's cases, and we have fixed rates. So it's a loss for us to spend so much time on it. It was a massive loss. This case was essentially lost money on it. But that's not important. What's important is the client got really angry at us and started yelling at us multiple times that we're asking too many questions. And then fast forward 6 months, and a lot of stuff happened in his life that was problematic potentially for the case if we weren't so thorough about everything. And he saw the Trump administration doing with the immigration thing that would have hit him really hard if he hadn't listened to us. And he called the other day and he apologized. He said, sorry, I was so mean to you guys and yelling all the time. Now I realized you guys had vision of what was going to happen and preparing us accordingly. And we're there to listen to me and not get angry and just let me vent, because that's what we're part of here for. People get frustrated. And so he's really happy with that. As a really endearing thing, because every time we call, we look at each other, my associate and I, like, oh boy, get ready for it. But, it's our job to help people deal with the stress of immigration. So that's the part we do. But there's, knowledge, understanding in Manchester. I would say, first of all, download my guide, Manchester. Go to jqqlaw.com/citizenship. I spent a lot of time making this guide. There's all these other people who do guides. There are 2 pages that says just call me and hire a lawyer. But this guide goes through a lot of different things. And from that, you can initially tell what kind of care we have. In our marriage immigration guide, too, go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Check out that stuff and watch our videos online, Manchester. And that by itself will give you a difference that we are. It comes out from the way I portray myself, our 7-star system of caring about our clients. I've written down what the star of the star is, but caring, speed, education, knowledge in the system, and a lot more. It's just a different game that we have, but it's up to you. And always just go to jqqlaw.com/contact, schedule a consultation, talk with me in private, and we'll take it from there. But thank you for your message, and the question is a very important one. Ruru asks, my wife applied for change of status and receipt notices. Boris in May. It is no. I'm not sure what Ruru was just saying. Please retype your questions. I can't understand what that means. User 38. Oh, we got to 2,000 likes. Thank you on TikTok. I appreciate everybody. Let's go for 3,000. I said, let's go over double it. On first 15 minutes, we got 1,000 likes. Next 5 minutes after that, we got another 1,000. Let's see how fast we can get to 3,000. So whoever watches, like. Let's see how we could mess around this algorithm. I'm not sure. It's the first time asking people to like, and apparently it's working. We're at 2,100. So in 30 seconds, we got 100. Keep it up. I really appreciate it. And let's keep it up and going. We got another 100 right there. So in 45 seconds, we got 300. Wow. Let's say like. Let's do it. All right. So let's go back to your questions. User 38 says, how long does a motion reopen the BIA take for decision based on VAWA case approved and add removal asylum? So I don't do BIA motion reopen kind of cases. It could take forever. It's just unknown kind of timelines. They say 6 months, but I don't specialize in those kind of things. So please don't bombard me with the same question over again. I'm seeing you're doing right now. I have to mute you. But Nora says, counsel, do you need Spanish interpreters for USCIS Orlando? I work for EYR as interpreter as well. Be honest, we really don't take cases where people need Spanish interpreters at the interview unless they're at the embassy, because I really want our lawyers to be able to talk in the same language. Manchester, another person asked what makes us different. I'll turn down clients because I want my clients to be able to talk with their lawyer. I speak English and Farsi, obviously, but Persian or Farsi. My associate attorney speaks Russian and English. And we have a paralegal who's fluent Spanish that helps us where they don't need in-person interpreters with the government, because we want to be able to talk with our clients and to communicate with us. So if someone comes, rarely will be the Japanese, they don't speak English. I'm like, I can't really get the information I need on a case to give really good service. And I want to be there. So if you're worried you can't sleep at night, you can call us and we can talk with you. And if we need to get a translator on the line to do it and stuff like that, it doesn't let me give the level of service I need. So although your work is really important for providing these translation services, it doesn't match our goals of our firm to be able to be lawyer facing with the clients, not hiding from our clients like people do a lot of times. You've been to doctors where only the nurse comes to talk to you, and the doctor says, "Hey, how are you? Give me money," and then they leave. I don't want to be like those doctors. So that's why we try to only take on cases where we get to talk to the client, unless some rare exception exists or there are better ways to communicate. The technology allows it a lot now, but we're not a good case for Spanish interpreters per se. It doesn't really pop up for us too often. And we don't have too many cases in Orlando. Sometimes in Miami we have cases, sometimes in Tampa, but Orlando we haven't had too many cases pop over there. But there's a lot of need for it, so God bless, and thank you for your question. And then Carlino, thank you so much for giving the gifter badge. We got the 3,200 and wow, I talked for a minute. We got a whole 1,000. So more likes. Let's go to 10,000. Who knows? Leave some likes. In the first 15 minutes, got 1,000. Next 5 minutes, got 1,000. And then about 2 minutes after, I got another 1,000. Let's see how we can go to another 1,000 in a minute. It seems. Karthik, let's see. Manchester, answer your question. Karthik says, my STEM OPT is denied. What are my options? There's not much. We got to see why it was denied to try to fix it. If not, you got to leave or else you're violating status unless you have some backups. It's a bad situation, Karthik. STEM OPT is when you're a student visa holder and you get, once you graduate, you get 1 year of OPT, optional practical training, which allows you to work in the U.S. for a year to get job training. And then if you're in a STEM major, science, technology, engineering, and math, you can get another 2 years. But you got to have a job employer that has I-9 verified. You got to do the paperwork right. And if you get that, you get additional 2 years. Here, you got it denied, unfortunately. You got to see if there was an error. If not, you got to leave. You'll be starting out of status if there's a finding that you're denied. So that's a big situation. Carlino and Controlla, thank you for the gifter badges. Bossy says, do you only take cases in the state of California? No, we take cases everywhere in the country. We have regularly. About half our cases are in California. The other half are everywhere else in the world. So we rarely do it. Carthy says, can I go for first day CPT? If you're already out of status, probably not, unless there's no grace period when you're denied typically, but I need to look into your case. I don't usually recommend first day CPT, but it's still viable. It's still doable, but we got to see what's going on, Karthik. This is too deep to give you advice on a situation where you're denied, because I got to see maybe they denied you for fraud. So it's like, we got to see exactly what's said. I would 100% say go talk with the immigration attorney first, because the denial is a serious situation. Oh, we got to 4,000 likes in 3 minutes. Oh, wonderful. So keep liking, everybody. It's incredible to have so many likes all quickly like this. And yeah, just keep pressing likes so we get more attention. Share the feed so other people can ask their immigration questions. I try to be, as you've seen, answer detailed questions. Control is, how often do you take Canadian clients? Is their experience different, less tense? We take Canadian clients. The biggest group of clients I have are Canadian, actually. So the number one clientele, we have a Canadian, then like Australian, and then probably like, what's that country? Like Brazil, and then it's everywhere else. So India and China, obviously a lot, Pakistan a lot, Iran, Russia. But Canadians number one. Is their experience is different? It's relative, because there's always different issues that exist. We have a case right now, Canadian, getting divorced and getting remarried, and we're going to do the marriage case. But in Canada, for some reason, divorce is taking like a year and a half for the government because they're backed up in their court. So we're waiting a year and a half for this divorce to happen so they can do a new marriage case. So that was one. Secondly, Montreal was where you do your green card interview if you're doing it with the embassy. They've gone faster now. They're taking a year. You need different birth certificates. Canadians usually have a short form birth certificate, which is not correct. The U.S. doesn't accept that. There's a less tense. It really depends on the case. Some people can handle stress better than others. Some people's cases have issues. Some people's the officer they're dealing with is just mean or something like that. So when it comes to stress and tests, it depends on so many different factors. What we do is lessen it by taking on stress ourselves, being very thorough in what we do to avoid problems that can happen, and kind of highlight in our head, have an idea of what red flags have happened. So we have answers, paperwork, everything ready ahead of time. So there'll be less stress for you. And officer, as soon as they start stressing out, they'll say, no, officer, I got to answer for you. Here it is, here it is. And if we see have problems that aren't fixed, we just tell you so you don't waste a bunch of time and money doing something that you need to do. Karthik says, how do I contact you to discuss the situation? Go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact to schedule a formal consultation, jqqlaw.com/contact. Oh, we got so fast all of a sudden. We got 4,900 likes. Let's go. We'll probably get 5,000 in a second. Let's keep it going. Let's see how fast we can like it and share this feed so we get more people joining us. Incredible. 5,000. We hit 5,000 likes in one show. I don't know anything relative to that, but that's pretty means 5,000 people have come in and pressed likes. So that's pretty cool. So I really appreciate everyone's doing it. We got 5,100. I feel like these auctions, 5,100, going 502, 502. Let's go 500, 200, and going. We'll come. Let's see. Okay, so let's go back to questions. How long are they taking to make decisions on green cards after the initial interview? It depends. It could be immediate. It could be months. There's no fixed time on that. Junior says, but after my interview, the officer gave me a website to register for that service, and I did. So you got to get you'll get a notification whether you're placed in oath ceremony line. So I'm not sure what the officer did exactly, but you need to register, maybe upload a copy of the registration to the system, and then let him know that it happened, maybe mail him a letter. But the thing is, if you had hired us, we would have caught that and had that done before your application. So that would have been an issue. So that's why, it doesn't come up. So just fix it, and then hopefully the officer gets notification of it, upload a copy of registration, and mail them a letter. So that's what we do. We contact them and say, hey, listen, we fixed it. Please help us out, this and that, and try to get it through. But this is something that should have been caught in the beginning. The form does ask for it. It's on the Form N400, so this should have gone your radar too. But we see this all the time where people, they say, oh, it's just easy paperwork, let me do it. And I had this woman who completely messed up her life because she just, on her N400, she missed a couple of boxes, which caused them to like really push and ask a bunch of questions that caused her to be denied, which wouldn't have come up in the first place if she had just filled on her like a work history properly. So yeah, it's just, you got to catch this stuff. So we're at 5,900 likes, probably getting 6,000. Wow, it's incredible. We got like 2 minutes left in the show. Let's see if we get to 7,000. We get 2,000 likes in 2 minutes, 2 for 2. We got 6,000 now. Let's get to, actually, let's get to 8,000, let's say. Now 2,000 likes. Just press like, and let's see what happens, and share this feed so more people learn about it. Thank you, everybody. Now, Famous Sami says, is it common these for people to get their initial interview and get detained? It's not common, but it has happened where people go for their interview and they get detained. It almost never happened before, but now it's like happening. But it's not like, I would say common, because there's thousands of interviews each day. It's not, it doesn't happen all the time. Junior says, but I passed my interview and everything, but it said USCIS will send a written decision. We didn't pass your interview because you made a mistake on one of them, so that's not a pass. Yeah, so until you can't pass the interview if you have problems with it. Rose says, I have a green card. I'm a green card holder traveling to Africa with travel documents. It has to be a question in there. Mayface says, I have a asylum case pending. My fiance is LPT. I mean, you probably mean lawful permanent resident, LPR. Can I file I-130, I-485? It depends on your method of entry and if you have status. So if you enter without permission, no. And if you're out of status at this point, that could lead to a denial. So most likely no. But we got to see the details of your background. Maybe there's an exception, or maybe your fiance is going to become a citizen, so that solves the out of status portion. But if you didn't enter with authorization, that's going to be a problem. So maybe 100% talk with your asylum attorney. I'll have a lot of time where people have asylum cases and they have an attorney for that, but they hire us for the marriage case. I guess we have more trust because we really focus on that, talk about it a lot. But that's a serious situation. You should know the answer to that already. So if you don't, then you need to talk to someone really qualified. Schedule consultations, we look into it. But note that we don't do asylum cases or court hearings, so we can't really help on that portion of it. But okay, look, 7,400. We need 600 more likes to hit this new record I just made up of 8,000 likes in one show. Thank you everyone for pressing this. I see hearts going along. I really appreciate it. It's really cool. It eggs me on to be more excited. I'm always excited to talk about immigration law. If you haven't already, you have a podcast on immigration law, jklaw.com. I have a professional trade podcast for immigration lawyers called the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox. So if you want more listening on immigration law, more technical stuff, we have it there. And also, like, you'll tell, like, I spend probably 10 hours a day talking about immigration law. And I still have this enthusiasm about it for 15 years. It's very blessed to have this opportunity. Okay, so Momo says, can I apply for EB2 while asylum is pending? You can apply for it and get it started. 99 out of 100 times they'll deny it, but 1 out of 100 they'll approve it because you haven't been maintaining status, most likely. I'm assuming that. It's almost always they deny it, but just last week a colleague said they got theirs approved. So it's the law is not clear, but most of the time they'll deny it. Mafe, thank you for the gifter badge. Junior says, I already uploaded online. Junior, there's only so many times I can repeat the same thing. So please just enjoy the show and contact them or hire an attorney to kind of from your locality that knows the office to get to it. But I can't really just keep going to the same thing. Carlene's gifter, thanks so much. We got to 8,300 likes and we got to end the show. I got to take my kid out to karate pretty soon. Brazuka says, good evening. Good evening to you too. Jason says, getting married in a year, not a citizen now. What should I do in the meantime? I don't know, Jason. Schedule consultation so we can discuss the facts of the case. jqklaw.com/contact. And we're going to end the show soon. We got 8,500 likes. Let's get to 10,000. I'll keep it another 2 minutes. But if you're interested in a consultation, go to jqklaw.com/contact. Do that there. If you're interested in a marriage green card case, Jason, I would say download our ultimate marriage green card guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Again, that's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And for those thinking about citizenship, go to jqklaw.com/citizenship, down the ultimate naturalization citizenship guide. And thank you everyone for pressing like. We got 8,800 likes. That blew my mind. I'll keep in hopefully another minute or two to get 10,000. That'd be really cool. But then I got to take the kid to class. So feel free to shoot out your question about U.S. immigration law. We'll try to give a thorough answer for general educational purposes only. Thank you everyone for joining on Instagram as well and on YouTube and especially on TikTok. What a good TikTok day it's been. And share the live if you can. I really appreciate it. Carlene, thank you for liking the live show. Carlene Camo. Ngozi, thank you for liking as well. And everyone else, we're at 9,000 likes. So it's really cool. And please do shoot out your questions about U.S. immigration law, and we can take it from there. I guess, I might have to call it a day. Got to get dressed and go. But thank you everyone for joining. If you want to schedule a private consultation, just head jklaw.com. We have our regular live show on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. But I'm going to try to do more of these pop-up shows. It's a lot of fun. So thanks again for everyone who joined us. And I guess we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. God bless. Be safe. And I'll see you all next time. We got 9,300 likes on TikTok in a 32-minute period. 9,400. So again, thank you so much for everyone who joined it and liked. And it cheers me up a lot. It's so cool doing this technology stuff. God bless. Be safe. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.